Beyond Bitcoin Hangouts are meant to give everyone a voice, a chance to speak with others who are passionate advocates for expanding the blockchain's use cases out into the world and beyond. Do you have a crypto community you would like to represent and hold open Hangouts for? If so, you might find yourself on the path to owning a stake in Beyond Bitcoin. We are looking for people who care about people who want to bring others together, because crypto communities are people. Beyond Bitcoin is a movement of thinkers and doers in the crypto space. And if you feel you are one of them, reach out to beyondbitcoin@gmail.com for more information on how to debut your community's efforts to reach to the stars and beyond. Welcome everybody to another Beyond Bitcoin Hangout. Today is Friday, August 26th, 2016. As always, we're joined by a bunch of crypto addicts who spend most of their time awake, living and breathing crypto, for those who are not familiar. This is called blockchain technology, and we call it crypto. We understand that cryptography and all that stuff have existed long before what we're using it for today, but you can kind of take that as synonymous with blockchain technology if you're a first-time listener. With that said, anybody who wants to join up to our Hangouts, they're more than welcome to do so. You can always catch us on the RSVP thread on Steemit and ask your community to upvote you after you RSVP on the thread if you would like to talk about a specific topic or project and you would like to be the guest speaker representing that. Please feel free to RSVP, have people upvote it, and give you the best possible chance to get into the Hangouts. With that said, if you just want to join up and listen in or occasionally participate with questions or comments with respect to what the various people who are speaking here want to bring to the community, feel free to go ahead and do so. There are directions in the Mumble RSVP thread. So with that said, today we are going to be starting, just to let you guys all know, Peer Plays gave us a quick update. They were at number one with $44.26. Now, with that said, they are currently on the road because of some business stuff for Peer Plays, and it kind of ran over from what they are saying. So they're going to be apparently doing a little bit more work on the side. We all know how that works. So I do want to say that I appreciate them joining up today and RSVPing to let us know that they are not going to be joining us. If you do RSVP and you let us know beforehand that you're not going to be able to show up, it would be very helpful. But I'm going to start introducing a 3-strike rule. If people RSVP saying they're going to be here and they do not show up, I'm going to kind of ask you guys to flag them if they RSVP afterwards, or at the very least go and tell them it's going to be a month's time before you can get back on here. And that's just to keep people from RSVPing and making it so other people don't want to join up because they feel like they don't have a shot of getting in and then not joining up in the end anyway. So these are some of the little things that are going to pop up that we're going to need to change things and kind of respond to over time. But with that said, does anybody have any questions or comments before we move to Chris, who I think switched Brindle to talk about the BlockPay ICO and some other cool stuff that they have to talk about?
Well, from my side, it's all okay. We can start as soon as we are ready for that.
I'm ready when you are, Chris. I just want to make sure, Brindle, you are fine with him going in front of you, correct?
Yeah, it was my idea.
Okay, just want to make sure that nothing's changed.
All right. Yeah, thank you, Brindle's one, to let us go first and to give everybody a little update. I was actually expecting we're going to hear a little bit more about Peer Plays, but yeah, where should we start? I would say this was really, wow. I think we are very, very excited about what happened the last couple of days. And as you probably all know, when we started on Saturday, we started with the first buyback of the BlockPay ICO. So we started to buy back all the OPENPOS tokens, and over the weekend, everybody had time to really look into the details. And on Tuesday, we finally started with the countdown. We started with at 3 p.m. here in Germany to really get started, and I was really, really excited. My heart was racing, but at the end, I have to say that was really an amazing 24 hours at the first day. We raised over 30% already in the first 24 hours. So that was almost 300,000 US dollars for the BlockPay system and for all the other products we want to develop over the next couple of weeks. And now we are really looking forward to basically give a little bit more push about the last couple of tokens that we have, and just give you a little update where we are standing. I just looked at the figures. So basically, since Tuesday 3 p.m., we were able to raise almost 482 bitcoins and around 14 million BitShares, which is basically the majority of all the funds. That is around, yeah. I would say almost 650 bitcoins just for BlockPay, for Echo, and for Stealth. And we are really excited about that because this is really giving us the energy, all the funds that we need to at least run for the next 12 months, full production development for BlockPay, for Echo, but also with a lot of fallout for the BitShares ecosystem. Because we had a lot of people who were like, okay, it's going to be a new chain. No, it's not. So we are completely 100% building on top of BitShares with all of our products. And I'm very excited to basically really go through all the details, all the new things that we want to do. And yeah, I'm happy to discuss all the new stuff that will happen for the BitShares ecosystem. And I also have to really to basically I'm really surprised that when I started the discussions in Bitcoin Talk, we had over 8,000 views in our main channel. Not one person was talking about BitShares. That was really surprising, and I think actually that we really struck the right time, the right nerve, that even the Bitcoin people are open to new softwares, to new solutions, maybe to a multi-currency solution, and they are not that hostile anymore to Steem or to BitShares as they used to be. So that is really great news, and yeah, over 10 pages already. Not one single person to complain. I'm very happy about that. So I'm open for your questions, and let's discuss what we're going to do with all the funds.
Forgive this question. It says from ignorance. I haven't really studied the announcements that have been made with regard to the BlockPay buyback. Is it too late to take advantage of that program now?
You can still send your OpenPOS tokens back to the ICO.BlockPay. You can still do that. But we're going to close that exchange feature very soon so that we really get all of the tokens that we can really buy everything back to you guys, and then we will not exchange anymore.
Okay, very good. So I'll try and get that done today then.
Yeah, well, I got some mails, and some people were on holidays. Of course, it's summer break, so they were not aware of everything. So we give them a couple more days, and then we're going to close the exchange opportunity.
There's no difference in the proceeds you will obtain from that. It's just a matter of you've got to finally close the window at some point, right?
Yeah, exactly. And also there were also a lot of questions about the OpenPOS tokens. They will remain the same, so they will not change in functionality. So you either can say, okay, I want to sell them now and we buy it back from you, or you keep them and it all stays the same.
There's two questions here that have been asked. One is from Talkinator, and he says, what is the status of phase 3?
So phase 3 is running actually quite good. I just have to look here in my calculation sheets. So basically, we collected already, we already sold 750,000 BlockPay tokens of phase 3. So we have around 2.25 thousands basically left. Yeah, we got a little bit more to go. I would say around 800 bitcoins to really be totally sold out. And we really have to push it now forward that we can get those tokens on the market. And yeah, we're going to announce the details about that pretty soon. But so far, I think that phase 3 looks really good, and we have a lot of interest. So there are around 2.2 million tokens left to be bought.
Okay. G Chicken here asks another question. They said, could you sum up the advantages of both tokens? First off, are you guys hearing me cut out a lot?
You're cutting out terribly.
Let me reset this.
One last question about the tokens. So you can hold on to the tokens. You don't have to redeem them, and there's still value in it. I was thinking that you were phasing those tokens out for other purposes, or not even to be reused. So that's not the case.
This is kind of along the line of those questions that G Chicken brought up, and it says, could you sum up the advantages of both tokens? From what I read, the OpenPOS token still has good value based on the Odoo revenue.
Yeah, so basically what we decided is we really wanted to thank all of the early supporters who bought OpenPOS tokens last Christmas. So that's why we decided to really take 600,000 BlockPay tokens to buy them all back. However, of course, we didn't really say we're not going to revoke the functionality of the OpenPOS tokens. And I think we already got over 80%. So I think that since we bought most of them back, they will be basically they will lose their functions over the next couple of months. The OpenPOS token itself, you know what it does really, it gives you a direct cut of all the transaction fees that we generate through the Odoo platform. But that is the only thing. So it's just limited to all the transactions from Odoo. What the BlockPay token really gives you, they give you a share of all the transactions and all the fees that we generate from all our products. So in this way, BlockPay is really open to all the different products that we are developing. So that means all the upcoming integrations. That means all the fees that we are generating through Echo. That's all the fees that we're generating through Stealth. And we also have a couple of more products that we want to build over the next couple of months, which also generate income, and that will also basically shared with all the BlockPay token holders.
G Chicken thinks that he heard you say something here. It says, did you say that OpenPS will lose its revenue stream in the coming months?
It's not decided yet. I will think about it, but since we have 80% of all the OpenPS tokens, it could be an option. Maybe you're going to do another buyback, but so far as of today, no, they will stay absolutely the same.
So there hasn't been any decision that going in that way. It's just something that can be on the table if needed.
Yes, it can be on the table, but as of today, they just stay as they are.
Okay, and G Chicken said, good, I only sold back half of my tokens. So he seems like he's good to go if he thinks that he wants to hold on to the tokens. But if you guys do change to maybe take the revenue stream away, you guys would probably consider another buyback. Is that what you were trying to say?
Yeah, we will do another buyback for that one. But I have
If that
still
happens.
have to, yeah, if that happens, still have to think about all the details. But for now, basically, just I'm very, very happy about that we were able to pay out over $100,000 to all OpenPOS holders. This is a lot of money that we don't take. We could use it a lot, but we really take this and we invest into all the old supporters, because, as you know, without all the early supporters of OpenPOS, we would not exist. This company would not exist. We would never be where we are today. And that's why I really decided to really give you a high, cool payout so that you really profit from your early investment.
Well, I will say that I really like the fact that instead of funding, you used the term energy. Because really that's what it comes down to, right? Whenever you have funding, you have energy to continue building new things. And if people see that you are using that value that you are earning and that energy to build something that's going to make more value, then that's an extremely valuable thing for them and you, right? Because it brings out that ability for you to actually build the things that you need and have the resources to do so. And then it also gives those people who give you those resources the ability to reap the rewards from what you're going to build from it, you know? So energy was a great way of saying it. Talkinator says here, at Chris, can you elaborate on what comes next?
Sure. So we can really go basically through the next couple of steps, and I think everybody's actually really exciting to see when BlockPay finally will hit the stores. When is it going to be available in the Google Play Store and also on the other Android stores? Because we really want to make sure that wherever you are, that you can download BlockPay and then you can set up your account and you immediately can start. So with Can, we are just working right now. We got 2 servers here, really nice servers in Germany and one in France. So we're going to have our own server infrastructure. We're going to have our own witnesses coming up. So we also have a really nice feature where one of the servers is not available. It's automatically going to connect one of the other servers we have. And also, of course, all the public servers, so that whenever you want to request a payment, you can really get a very fast QR code shown and that you're always online. So we have a lot of redundancy that we are developing. And for the BlockPay app so for the app version, that's going to be coming up in the next couple of days. We are very close for the release. The same is also going for BlockPay for Odoo, and we are talking with them, and we have potentially a hotel chain who really wants to use Odoo because they have a lot of international guests, and a hotel is a good start for them. Beside that, of course, we are looking now into the next integration partners. So where could we integrate? Today I got a call from SAP, which is very interested. Coming from the Chinese community, they are really hyped up because they see a lot of a great future basically for BitShares, where they really were at the last couple of weeks. They were very sad after Daniel left, and now they see a lot of movement again, and they're really excited. So we are talking with the Chinese community, but also talking with SAP. And what's coming next? You have to think about, okay, what is the best thing that we really need for BlockPay and for our merchants? So what we need is the first biggest thing is fiat gateways. So today we have a handful, but of course we need more. So this is really our next big step, where we are reaching out to potential partners who can help us with fiat gateways, with integrations. And as we also, what we really need is to have a very clean interface for merchants, because we really cannot tell a little store, a little bar, a little restaurant, yes, your money is here in this open ledger wallet or here on your BitShares Lite client, but they're going to be totally lost. So the next step for me personally is really we need to have a very clean interface, easy to understand, which looks pretty similar to the PayPal interface, but is all based on the BitShares blockchain, so that when the merchant has the money, he needs to go to the site, he needs to be able to log in, he needs to be able to see his balance, and then just to basically choose one of the different providers to deposit the money back to his bank account. And that is one of the next steps we're really going to tackle to provide these kind of services and infrastructures. On the same time, we're also going to start research and development of the stealth. The stealth transactions are something that is very highly requested by our big retail partners. We are going to meet them next month. They are really excited to really know how that all works. We are already also talking with a couple of other partners who are going to help us to really get all the legal aspects of the stealth features right, because there's also a lot of concerns about that one. We really have to look into these parts. And as you already know, for stealth, most of the code is already done. There's no hard fork required anymore for the BitShares blockchain. So all what it really needs is a backup feature for the recepts, and you need to have the integration of the interface. So when you are using the Open Ledger wallet, or if you're using a different BitShares wallet, you need to have the option to really just click, okay, this is a stealth transaction, this is what I want to do. So we're going to start with that one. And as third major kickoff, we're going to start with the development of Echo. Echo, as some of you already know, is basically the best combination of WhatsApp and PayPal. So it allows you to store your funds on a BitShares wallet and allows you to chat with your friends totally encrypted over IPFS. The wallet itself is already finished. That is the wallet that Google plays today. It's the same software, so easy. That we will start and kick here is the work with IPFS and the chat features. And that's going to be happening basically in the next couple of weeks. We're going to start, and then we're going to really keep you up to date what is happening in this area.
Is what you're doing in stealth going to be given back to the BitShares community? What's going on with stealth in BitShares? I missed. I guess you gave a talk on that in the first week of August, which was one of the rare times I missed. So if you could elaborate on that a little bit more, Chris.
Yeah, so the deal basically is we bought the stealth tokens from Bytemaster, so we have the majority of all the tokens because stealth is the feedback asset. It is a new asset on the BitShares among the three that we have, and so in this way, we also have access to the codes, and also we are getting all the fees that are generated by the stealth transact itself. Right now, it's 19 cents per transaction. So for a full stealth transaction from one party to another one, it is 19 multiplied 2. It is already implemented. It is already on the blockchain itself. But what is missing today is the right interface. And of course, the backup, because how stealth really works is you are basically creating a stealth account. It's a regular BitShares account on the blockchain. Then you are transferring funds to this account. And this account could be seen by any kind of blockchain explorer. So you can use CryptoFresh, you can look for it, you will never find it. But it is on the block and it's validated and reachable by the user who created it. What is happening next is you're going to generate basically a pickup code. Similar, if you ever use the Western Union, you get a pickup code, and this code then will be transferred to the receiving party over outside of the blockchain. And what was missing, or the big problem in the past, was that how do you do a backup of this pickup code? So imagine if you lose this pickup code, you lose the funds. And that is a big problem because you cannot retrieve it. And back then the idea was, yeah, maybe we could put it on a server, or we make backups of all the wallets. But Bytemaster decided this is very, very risky, and it's also a huge liability issue. What is if the server with all the backups are getting hacked, and then all the funds are gone? So Ken Code really can tell you more about the technical details, how we are going to do that, this part of the backups. And it is in this way already done. What we really need is the backup feature itself and the interface.
Well, what I can add to that discussion there, Chris, is that the mechanism for the backup is going to be the interplanetary file system. So it will be distributed. So it will be no one point of contact, one point of failure for a hacker being able to break in and obtain all those backups from people, because it'll be distributed across. It's a distributed file system. So I think that's the way that it's intended to be addressed.
Yeah, this is exactly how it is, and Ken Code can really give you all the technical aspects, how that all works, and how he's going to do all of that stuff. I can just tell you, like from a business perspective, it is highly requested by our merchant partners because, as you know, everything is open on the blockchain, and they don't like that. They really want to have more privacy, and they really want to protect their valuable financial data and interest on the blockchain.
So now that you have the funding, what's the time frame on getting that done?
I cannot give you like a direct time frame, but I can say that I think until end of the year we're going to be ready with most of the stealth stuff, and yeah. I think another very important aspect is that came up with the Chinese community, because they're always very sensitive about price. I just want to share my opinion about this topic. We got a large amount of BitShares tokens right now. We got around 13.7 million. This is a big stake. And I can already guarantee you that we're not going to sell the BitShares, and we're not going to dump it basically on the market. What I really want to do, I really want to use it for liquidity and provide a lot of new BitUSD, BitCNY to really push and create a really tight market. So over the next couple of weeks, we're going to use all kind of like market making bots or other tools to really increase liquidity on the market, because this is very, very important for our point of sales, and I don't really want to sell them on the market.
That's great of you guys. We appreciate that.
I think Fuzzy still has some problems here. Yeah, I just want to basically share these ideas with all of you guys, because I think it's important that you say, like, yes, workers are always a big risk, and now we have a big crowdfunding on the BitShares platform, and there's a lot of BitShares that can be used, and of course we don't really want to dump and destroy the market. What I think is going to be more interesting to really see is, since we got a lot of attention for BlockPay and a lot of people are starting to already look into the Steem technology, they're going to see that BlockPay is built on a similar platform. I think we're going to have a lot more people, and that's maybe also something that Brindleswan is going to bring up with his idea. We get a lot of requests right now from alternative currencies who want to be integrated into the BlockPay point of sale system and want to be added. So the question for us really comes up now, and I really also need your input here. What is the best method to do that? How do we add all these new coins and currencies on the BitShares platform? We can do a MPA or we can do a UIA. Both have their advantages, but what I really see in the next couple of weeks is that we're going to have a lot more communities probably integrating onto the BitShares platform, similar like Gridcoin is doing it. And I think we're also going to hear a little opinion about SolarCoin, Electric Chain. I don't know if he's already here, but we are talking with the SolarCoin guys already. They are looking for a new blockchain where they can host all their solar coins. They are building right now on a Litecoin fork, and they're thinking about an immigration or an add-on, a sidechain, basically to BitShares.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm not on my computer, but I can hear you guys. This is a discussion that I've been trying to bring to the community as far as the MPAs or the UIAs myself. Now, my thoughts on it, and I don't know what other people's thoughts are here, but obviously we'll be able to get into that. But my thoughts are, an MPA is really the strength that BitShares has over things like NXT and all these other potential competitors, right? Now, that's essentially what makes us a quote-unquote true decentralized exchange, right? Because there's no real counterparty risk other than the market. And we know that the market is a lot more difficult to corrupt than any single individual who holds a UIA and says, yes, I'm going to transfer this, this token to you for your UIA whenever you want. I'm going to be backing it 1-to-1, right? We've seen how that doesn't, that introduces a lot of risk that doesn't really need to be there. So my thought on it was, why don't we find a way of, as a community, giving various communities that have a token who really want to work on, bringing a truly decentralized version of their token to a DEX that will actually protect their value, and let them hold it that way, right, as an MPA, and let them have the incentive, maybe by earning fees from it or something to that effect, to keep the peg on their own, because now they have an incentive as a community just to keep their peg going, right? And what you would see over time if we did that would be that it's, even if we dipped into some funds and gave away to some of the first coins that did this, or had a competition for them to do, to earn free MPA version of their token on our DEX. If we were to do those things and we were to put the incentive in their hands to actually test these ideas and find the perfect how do you say, like, the template for most market pegged assets to keep a really tight peg, now you're opening up whole communities who are backing a token to start thinking about answering some of the questions that we want to make sure are 100% tested and verifiable, right? Because that's been one of the bottlenecks for us this entire time.
I think what we really need to do is, and that's what I'm going to do in the next couple of days, is to really compare both coins that we can use. So we can use user-issued assets, or we can use an MPA, and each community has to decide by themselves what is the better way, how to be integrated on the BitShares decentralized exchange. For example, what I hear from one side is, okay, when we do user-issued assets, then we are actually or maybe increasing the total amount of coins. So for example, if I do a UIA of a Bitcoin, then there's more than 21 million coins. So how do I bring that to the community? How do I sell that to my users? Is that a problem or not? On the other end,
that gets into like notional value in the stock market.
Yeah, it just increases the total amount. On the MPA side, maybe you don't do that because it's just a derivative of the underlying value and the asset, but you need to have a better understanding how to create the MPA and what is the current or the potential risk hedging with BitShares. This is your collateral.
Yeah, this is definitely a good question to be asking, and I'm thinking a lot about it myself lately. That's actually one of the reasons why there are multiple reasons why I'm leaning in the direction of the market-pegged asset, but the primary one is that I think that is what sets BitShares apart, and not only that, whenever Bytemaster said in all these meetings prior to this hangout, whenever he would go to like the Texas Bitcoin conference and things, what did he say? He said, we saw a need for a decentralized exchange after Mt. Gox crashed and burned and hurt a lot of people, right? And then he, on multiple other occasions, he was able to, and didn't usually do it. He used Mt. Gox as the example, but there were many other exchanges that hurt their token holders, right? Because they, for whatever reason, couldn't pay back those tokens that people were supposedly holding safely on their exchange. And whenever the people went to cash in because of a hack or whatever, or maybe a fractional reserve system and too many people wanting to grab the tokens, then you find that it's the same danger. And this is really what sets BitShares apart, is those market-pegged assets. And I think that if we find a sweet spot on that, and we get as many brilliant minds wrapped around this problem as possible, once we find that sweet spot for these different various tokens, I think that we're looking at something that's potentially extremely powerful. Now, BitUSD and all that stuff, that might be a better way of bootstrapping it. So I'm not quite positive, but it's the direction I'm leaning is how much do we get in return for it in terms of R&D on the market-pegged assets.
One thing, you have to have oracles. You have to have the witnesses have to add those feeds in for each of these MPAs that you want to establish. And is there a market for them such that they'll remain stable? Because if they can't remain stable, if there's no liquidity, then the market-backed assets won't stick their peg, and they won't have the value that BitUSD does right now. So I think increasing and focusing on BitUSD as the central point would be in everybody's best interest, but I don't think you're going to be able to convince all these other communities of that. They'll want to have their assets being the key.
Yeah, and like I'm saying is, BitUSD, we don't have to neglect those. That's actually one of the more powerful aspects that we have, right? Because market-pegged assets for things like gold and silver and fiats especially, that everybody uses, whenever you have that, you have a huge demographic who understands it, as opposed to Gridcoin. But what do you get whenever you bring another community of cryptocurrency nerds to focus on a product that can be empowered by a tool that we offer, which is called market-pegged assets? And let's say Gridcoin is the product that they're wanting to peg peg it to. If that's another tool that they can use, and they can say, hey guys, if you hold Gridcoin, you're literally hundreds of times safer than if you were to hold it on another exchange or something like that. If they could find those sweet spots for us, I think the R&D that those communities would have or would create it would be a whole lot of information that we could use to improve BitUSD and all those other things. Because let's face it, if if it's a lower liquidity coin and it's not going to be traded a whole lot, and I understand what you're saying, Tom, like Bytemaster always said these were kind of training wheels, right? The witnesses would be absolutely necessary early on to keep it functioning. Now, as after it reaches a critical mass, it's suspected that we won't have to worry so much about those price feeds. But the people who are looking at tokens and supporting tokens that aren't going to have a whole lot of liquidity, those are the types of tokens that could really teach us how to bootstrap MPAs. And how valuable is that for us to, as a community, to get that access to that information? And what better way than to incentivize people to offer that for their own coin?
I think what we also have to consider, if you do, for example, an MPA on the grid coins, what happens if the Gridcoin blockchain is stopped working?
That's a good question. I guess I would assume that the price would crash in real life and the peg would probably follow.
Because this is like what a lot of communities really have to think about. Yes, for example, like SolarCoin, they are a fork of the Litecoin client, and they're running their own servers. They're doing everything, mining, and to keep their community alive and to give the tokens a value. And they just realize, wow, it's too slow. Yeah, and nobody's really going to use this kind of technology, and they are looking for a more scalable system where they don't really have to invest a lot of research in how to scale it and run all the miners and all the security aspects. And of course, in a certain way, it would be the best to integrate onto a faster chain. Either it's Ethereum or is it the BitShares chain. It's up to them. But at the end, for example, if they completely integrate on our platform and they have an MPA, that wouldn't work, because then they couldn't shut down the old exchange. So what they really need to do is they need to have a UIA in this case.
Well, that's a very good point. Now the question then, at least for me, comes down to how do you support those UIAs, and how do you back them in a way that is as trustless as possible, and includes as few attack vectors as possible, right? Because once you put out there's a UIA, like for instance, all open assets or all Freedom Ledger assets, it's going to be basically dealing with the same risks that a centralized exchange does at that point.
Right, but the best way to protect it in a UIA case would be to set up a multi-sig on the way that UIA is set up, so that it's not one individual, but it's a group of individuals. That's the best protection I can imagine you can provide for a UIA.
Like you're saying multi-sig, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, I know that Seraph was talking at one point in time about precisely that. He wanted to have almost like it would be, people would be able to randomly put themselves up as multi-sig people. And this is kind of like this is just a general idea, where then you would actually be able to have witnesses potentially sign off as multi-sig partners on storing tokens, if that makes any sense. Like, so we could literally have a place where if I send BTC someplace, I get open.btc or freedom.btc, or you know what I mean, abc.btc, for instance.
So I think it's safe to say we've moved into the BitShares portion of the discussion here, and I'm really glad to.
Fair enough.
I've been missing this type of discussion. G Chicken and Johnny Bitcoin have been making, I think, some important comments, typing them in on the side. If you want to read them, Fuzzy, or if you want me to.
Well, you said that you were going to moderate this part, buddy, so I'll step back and let you do it. I love seeing people step up and do this stuff.
Okay, so Johnny Bitcoin seems to be making the point that BitUSD needs to be liquid before we create any more market-pegged assets. And G-Chicken says sidechains for the win. MPAs for fiat and sidechains for crypto coins. So I would love those guys to actually speak up, but if anybody has any comments on those points.
Sidechains are the ultimate goal, although hard to achieve. MPAs are baked in, so it is an easy option. It is still a good option, but I see sidechains as the future of BitShares, fully decentralized exchange, chained to its partners. I agree. That is actually a very good point, because once you have sidechains, those sidechains are now going to be able to be fully backing their own MP or their own UIAs and stuff like that. So that would be a very good way of doing it. From what I understood and have heard in the BitShares community, is that a side chain is going to make a chain a side chain to BitShares is going to cost, like, for the first one, probably somewhere in the realm of $100,000. Now I don't know if that's accurate, but that is what I've heard, and it was from Data Security Nodes. So I suspect that, I'm pretty sure it was Data. I want to say it was Data, but if it was from him, I'm sure he's been doing a lot of research on this stuff, and he has Dan Notestein with him as well, who has been working on a lot of stuff that's BitShares related. He's the block trades guy, for those who are listening who don't know everything there is to know really about BitShares. But if he's saying that, I suspect that it's probably somewhat accurate.
Okay, so I do kind of want to get back to BlockPay for just a little bit. I want to mention that I think a killer app for merchants putting out there that we accept all these cryptocurrencies, I think the main driver is going to be something along the lines of we accept Steem, and selling the sign up for Steem, and maybe from a different website, maybe from their own website, that instead of maybe giving so much Steem power, give something that can be traded for a coffee right away, a free coffee, and maybe that bakes in a little referral system, so that when somebody signs up for, so that there's a motivation. Pay with this today, sign up today, and you can start making money blogging, but you also might get a free coffee today. I know that they have loyalty points built in, but I'm thinking a full baked interface to the Steem blockchain might be the ticket. So what do you think about that, Chris? If you're still, yeah, Chris is still here.
So I think, like, what is quite important, Ken already just posted a big update. What is coming in the next couple of days, of course, we're gonna have a full integration of the Steem blockchain into BlockPay and also into Echo, so that when somebody really wants to pay with Steem dollars, it's going to be directly transferred to the BlockPay and then to a merchant wallet in the backend. So the Steem as a blockchain always going to be full integrated, the same as Bitcoin does. For the interface, I'm not really sure what you mean for when somebody is posting content over BlockPay. That makes no sense, because there's no site for that one. Although what would be more interesting, and that is something that I'm already thinking about since months, is when you look at our idol of Echo, that is WeChat, they have something like a Facebook wall. They have like a timeline where you can basically just upload some pictures, some little stories, friends can go on it, and it is very, very popular in China. And if you integrate this kind of like personal wall shared with your friends based on a Steem blockchain, I think that's going to be very, very interesting.
You said a personal what?
Personal timeline.
A la Facebook.
I love Facebook, yeah, but on a social instant messenger, and it is basically just baked in with Steem.
And you're saying that would be on BlockPay?
No, that's going to be part of Echo.
Well then, man, yeah, okay. So you would still have private messaging then, but you would also have the transparent portion where anybody can see what you post in your timeline as well.
Yeah. So we could basically integrate the Steem blockchain just for this feature, to where you really say, like, okay, you can share your content with your friends, and you can earn some money on the side as well.
It's a great idea.
Steem kind of has that with their blog, but it's not restricted to just your friends or followers. It's open to anybody. But if they put that feature in there, it sounds like it would be a pretty easy thing to add to Steem. I know Echo's totally different, but I'm just making that observation.
I think like here it's today it's poor speculation because Echo will still take a couple of more months basically till it's really finished, and until then, who knows how far Steem is going. I always like to look at the Steem tool website. There already are chats, there already are forum scripts, there's everything. It's quite amazing.
So
yeah, we really have had a large onboarding of new people who have skills because of Steem. I mean, that's in the worst case scenario if Steem doesn't go and stay up in the 200 million range for a long period of time. Even with that, a lot of people are still going to be interested, even if payouts are, $400 for the top trending things. So you're going to start seeing a continued influx, I think, of people into Steem, and using that and kind of building Echo on top of that to a degree, I think is a great idea.
Yeah, there should be a simple sign that just lets people know when they come into the store that maybe they haven't been interested in paying with crypto before, but now maybe they are going to be interested in signing up and getting something right away. But you guys should also make money on that. That's why I'm talking about a different interface to the Steem blockchain with with your own built-in referral program.
So basically, what we have a screen server, or what is it called? Screensaver, sorry, a screensaver on the BlockPay. So when it's not used for 1 minute, then the merchants can basically put up a little picture where they can show the menu or they can show the latest offers and so on. And what could be maybe something in the future, we have to look into that, to say yeah, you could run advertisement for Steem or something similar and say you want to earn some money blogging or something similar, sign up here, and then they can create an account at the station. And we are talking already with a couple of partners who want to put BlockPay basically more into a kiosk style environment. It's not really at the cash register itself. It is more a little bit outside where you have more time to really play with the whole thing. For example, you could imagine it's something like a ATM machine, or you want to buy tickets or something, movie tickets, you want to have it on the side, so you have really time to look into the thing. That you have here a sign up for a Steem account, and connected with a referral or something.
So I'm really glad to have the BitShares discussion this week, because I have been missing that a lot. In posting to Fuzzy's thread on Steemit, I posted a couple of links to things that looked kind of interesting. And then I went and posted to BitShares Talk and the BitShares Slack to just ask for more topics and more links. And basically there was dead silence there. So has most of the BitShares discussion actually moved to Steemit these days?
I would say that a lot of it has. I know Bytemaster urged people to consider bringing a lot of the stuff that they posted over there, and I'll just say it. I mean, a lot of people have been going over there because why post to the forums if I can post something about BitShares on Steemit and get paid for it for the same amount of time, maybe a little bit extra time to add a couple images.
So is the Electchain guy here, or the Steem Forrest Willie, the SteemPress podcast?
I'm looking right now. Crypto Hippie is here, and that is Forrest Willie in the podcast.
I think that is actually quite an important thing that we really should think about, is because I think Carnel also mentioned that in the BitShares talk forums. that most of the discussions really disappeared from the forum, and now it's a lot of stuff happening on Steem, but it's not really the same kind of quality of discussions anymore. It's more like a short commentary, yeah, nice, but it's not really in-depth, and we're seeing actually kind of a lot of interaction, and I think we really should consider really also to take a look from time to time at the forum and see what's going on. I just actually saw this morning that there's a lot of new posts, there's a lot of new Russians coming in, a lot of Chinese are posting again, so there's more people getting more and more attracted to BitShares again to really look into the technology. And I think we also should really, keep the forum alive and post there and discuss new ideas. Especially the current liquidity discussions are very important, because that's something that we really need everybody's brain power to really think about how we can solve that.
You know, Joey's saying Steem is not a discussion platform like a forum, but I don't know how hard this would be in terms of the actual development, but you guys might be able to tell us a little bit more. Exactly what T-Bone is saying. We need a specialized forum interface with a Steem backend, because really the user experience is what governs how people are going to use it. If it's used like a forum and it looks like a forum, that's how they're going to use it. It's going to, this is habit, right? So once you have these people establish a habit, which, let's face it, we've all established a habit of how to use forums over a long period of time. So whenever you have a forum where it actually, rather than necessarily like having trending updates or anything like that, you have a forum where you can actually post threads and people can upvote it, but it doesn't show a dollar value and it doesn't necessarily like bump it to the top because it's a high dollar value. You take all of that stuff out of it, but you let people upvote it anyway. And I think that you're actually going to see communities start converging around Steem as the back end for forums and things like that too. And you would see that quote unquote whale problem start to disperse, because the actual front end is what dictates what other people see and the rules by which those posts are viewed. So if you have it where a forum, the latest post to get a response to it is bumped up, then that still incentivizes those people to continue posting and actually having a discussion like a forum does.
Well, Chris is saying and pointing out here, Steem does have a forum. I don't know how integrated it is with the Steem blockchain, but I do know that there's one over there, and I see a very limited set of discussions about it. So on it. So maybe Bytemaster or somebody else is more familiar with the technology over there, can tell us what the level of integration of that Steem forum is with the Steem blockchain.
Yeah, that'll be something for us to look into a little bit later for sure. I don't know. Yeah, feature creep is a dangerous thing, Joey, but at the same time, when you have something with an open-ended, open source user interface, and you have the Steem blockchain as the back end, and a lot of new people joining up to Steem, there shouldn't be too many problems in terms of a lack of skilled developers to build this stuff.
I just actually found this on Steem Tools. So it's forum.steemforum.com, where you have a classical forum interface. Looks a little bit like the Ethereum forum from the design. And I don't know if that is already integrated with the Steem blockchain. I'm trying to find a good post where you can really look it up on steem.com.
Well,
maybe already somebody knows.
I created a user ID on it, so I've played around with it a little bit, and there is some level of integration, but the user IDs are different clearly, so it's separate. How much there is in tying it into Steem, I'm not really sure, other than the entry point.
Oh, Steem at forum.
I guess you don't make any money on posts to Steem at forum. It might be nice, in the forum mode to post the logs of the forum discussions, and then split on Steem it, and then split the proceeds among the people who participated. And if anybody,
those are the types of things that could happen.
And since I promised to split the $15 or so on this post, if any of the regulars who've been talking, if your Steem user name is vastly different, maybe let me know somehow. Maybe on that thread on Steem, that would work.
What are you trying to do exactly, Brendel? You're trying to give what?
I wanted to split the $15 in upvotes with you and Tom and Chris and Johnny Bitcoin and all the people who've been participating both in text, G-Chicken as well. So just asking if everybody's username on Steem is the same to make it easy to do that split.
Awesome. Well, you don't have to worry about me, man. I'm actually using most of the stuff that I'm going to be earning to try to build this share bot so I can start distributing what is earned at these hangouts to the people who are here. But those things are things that I'm building as we speak, so I can't do it yet. But I will say that I'm getting enough support from the community to do that stuff that I have no problems with saying just give it to somebody else.
All right. Well, I think we've never talked BitShares out, but I'm willing to pass the torch to whoever wants to talk next.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, man, for joining up and talking about it, because I've wanted somebody to do the BitShares thing for quite some time. I actually think that BitShares could have its own weekly hangout just to talk about that stuff too. And obviously, it would be represented here as well. But I'm trying to move in the direction of getting these various different communities to hold their own hangouts, because it's kind of important, especially during this phase of cryptocurrency where now there's ICOs everywhere. Hey, give us money to build stuff. And it's like, well, if you have a community that supports you and is really, they know what you've been willing to do for your project, you should have no problem getting enough upvotes to get on Steem. It's to get upvoted on Steem and get on here, but that's something that everybody should know about, because if you've got a supportive community, that's how you leverage and get power on Steem. With that said, Pro for Never is up. Are you here, Pro for Never?
I sure am.
Awesome. This is about the Jules coin ICO, and he's got some really cool stuff here. I'm going to give you guys a thread on Bitcoin Talk where this is coming in, and they're at $11.78 today. So just for RSVPing and getting upvoted by people, they've got $11.87. So this is a valuable thing for anybody who wants to RSVP, guys. And I'm going to start giving out to people who refer projects that are good projects and get voted up. So just letting everybody know these are some things that are going to be happening. But Jules Coin ICO, do you want to step up to the podium and give us an explain it like I'm five type of speech, and then maybe take some questions and provide some answers?
Good to me. So I am Pro for Never. My real name is Chris Cook. I'm the owner of Apex Conquer, and I'm the project manager for the Jules coin. Basically, what we're trying to do is create a gaming-centered cryptocurrency with a focus on immediate sustained use cases. I've been involved in gaming and private server development and reverse engineering communities for well over a decade now, and I've been running Apex Conquer as my full-time job for over 18 months now. So unlike a lot of ICOs or gaming cryptocurrencies, our focus is trying to make sure that as soon as the ICO ends, as soon as a coin is launched, there will be immediate and sustained demand for it. So we already have our Apex server online and with a sustained player base. And we're looking to launch a second server with a much more modern version of the game called Conquer Heroes. And that'll be launching approximately the same time as the ICO ends. So the reason that we're doing an ICO is obviously we don't need funds to develop those servers. I've been doing that for years and we have a long track record with it. The funds with the ICO, those are dedicated to creating more content for both the coin and the servers. They're sort of in a symbiotic relationship there. So what we're looking to do is use those funds to create a series of provably fair gambling mini games in the Unity engine. Those games would then be made available inside our servers using a HTML5 web view, as well as available outside the game on a dedicated Jules gambling site. We'd be able to partner with other servers, other games, and other projects in order to get those integrated into their projects as well. And then the long-term goal is to use some of those funds and the community that we build up in the crypto sort of community to start developing our own custom MMO that would be beginning development after the release of the Jules minigames, and that would be approximately Q1 2017 to do the custom game to start showing off what we're doing with that, although a lot of the design has already been started. So basically, we have a rather long timeline with a lot of short-term milestones to try and get the coin introduced and being used as quickly as possible for players. The main primary use case, as I mentioned, is the existing server and the one coming out soon. So we would be using Jules as a sort of premium currency in that. So you'd be able to purchase cosmetic items, weapon skins, garments, special effects, loot boxes, VIP boosts, that sort of thing. And because it is then a cryptocurrency, people would be able to deposit it in off of exchanges. They'd be able to withdraw it from the game if they wanted to, as well as having the possibility to do a just one-click purchase to load their account.
And by loading their account, you mean loading their account with that token to actually be able to use it in-game?
Exactly, yes. So if people have access to Jules that they've purchased on an exchange, they'd be able to load it into a specific server. So let's say they're playing the new Heroes server. They'd be able to load those Jules onto their character's wallet, and then they'd be able to use that, authorize it for gambling transactions inside the game, use it to purchase cosmetic items in the Jules cash shop there. And one of the things worth mentioning is that because it is a game that a lot of non-crypto players will be taking part in, we do need a quick and easy one-click buy now option. So we've developed a system where we can secure PayPal transactions. And basically the way that's going to work is that if you are just a player, you don't care about it being a crypto, you just want to buy that fancy new weapon or something along those lines, you can just do a click load Jules button and it'll charge you through PayPal, let's say $10 to purchase those Jules. And those Jules can immediately be used in-game to purchase items from our Jules shop, but they would be considered untrusted. You would not be able to withdraw them to an exchange because it would still be within the period where you could do a chargeback through PayPal. So we do need to keep a small amount of Jules on hand to manage those transactions. So we're reserving 5% of the coin for that PayPal fund.
Out of curiosity, I hate to interrupt, but when you're talking about the problem with PayPal, I'm wondering, would BlockPay be able to help with this? Because they are able to allow vendors to accept any cryptocurrency. Chris, can you speak to that at all?
The reason that I mentioned PayPal in particular is that we've tested a lot of different payment systems in the past, mostly to try and allow people who are from regions that they might not want to use PayPal or might not have access to it. A good example being a lot of Middle Eastern countries or the Philippines. We have a lot of players from there that they're not able to use PayPal as easily as we are. Yeah. And almost any alternative payment method that we've tried using has ended up hurting the standard sales for European countries, America, Canada, that sort of thing. So that's why I mentioned PayPal in particular, is just because a lot of those, you might refer to them as first world countries, they would really only be comfortable using PayPal, but that doesn't discount the possibility of using other payment methods for one-click purchase type options as well, outside of exchanges.
It's interesting. Now, out of curiosity, what is the first game going to be like that you're going to be able to play?
So Apex and Heroes are both based on an old Chinese game called Conquer Online. So it is a MMO game, Asian themed. There's I would say this most popular example of a similar game would be like a Diablo 2. So it's an isometric MMO where it's very hack and slash, quick, fast-paced combat. And there is a lot of skill-based combat where you're aiming very carefully and quick reaction times are key. And so Apex has already been online for 18 months and has proven quite successful. We have approximately 30,000 registered accounts there, with about 2,000 active accounts per day. And then Heroes is looking...
And those accounts will be able to use the jewels?
Yes. Yeah. So Apex is already online, as I mentioned. So we'd be immediately introducing jewels as a premium currency. So when you spend money on the game, you'd be using jewels, or you'd be loading them in from an exchange, or as you mentioned, other payment options. And then you'd be able to load those onto your account and use them to purchase boosts for your character or cosmetic skins. Apex already has over 100 different unique cosmetic items that either we've introduced and added as a pay-to-use option, or that we've created ourselves. Then Heroes, which is the new server, is a much more modern version of the game. So it introduces a number of new classes, dozens of new tournaments and PvP events and game systems. And then that's going to be launching around the same time as the ICO ends. It's in public right now. We're aiming to launch on the 1st when the ICO ends, although there could be up to a week delay. One of our other developers has had some health issues, so that could delay it by a couple of days, but it is essentially ready to go, and that would also be integrating jewels right from day one.
I would think that users would be better served by a market-pegged asset, so that the things that they're buying always have the same price, which in maybe previous MMOs was easy to do because they weren't cryptocurrencies on exchanges that are fluctuating in value all the time. But it just offhand, it seems like you're doing an ICO to raise money rather than to really necessarily introduce any extended functionality into your game. And I'm also wondering if you've studied peer plays and if you can work with those guys.
So I'm not actually the person involved in developing the coin itself. I'm in developing the game side of things. So the Jules account that's in chat there, I'll let them take over the question in regard to the market capped assets, that sort of thing. In terms of what we're raising money for and what we're trying to introduce in terms of extra functionality, that would definitely be in regards to developing the series of mini games. There's a whole series of them that we plan to do. The first ones obviously being more simple ones such as dice games, slot machines, that sort of thing. There's a large number of RNG and gambling-based games already in the client. There's a poker system, there's a basic dice system, there's a lottery system, loot boxes, all that sort of thing. But the main drawback is that there is no provably fair concepts to it. So you're always going to have people wondering whether or not the server is sort of fudging the numbers behind the scenes and whether they're actually getting what they paid for, whether it's currency they earned in-game or whether it's currency they purchased from us. So what we're really focusing on doing is creating that premium currency in our game that has real-world cash value that they can withdraw from the game at any time, and sort of legitimizing those trades. And then introducing a series of games where they can use that and be confident that their gambling is being provably fair and it's all being validated server side. In terms of the fluctuating value of the currency, we know that will be a problem. Generally, what we're planning to do with that in terms of the premium items in game, so cosmetic items, boosts, that sort of thing, is that we would be able to adjust those over time, such as doing monthly revamps to sort of reflect the current market price, that sort of thing. But overall, our main focus with that is on the gambling games for the currency, and for allowing sort of escrow trading. So in the future, we would like to be able to do a Jules auction house, so players can list their cosmetics and resell them to other players. So that will definitely help account for the fluctuating price of the per jewel value, because those items will still be tradable and they can resell them for jewels, withdraw them for cash, that sort of thing.
Thank you.
Now, out of curiosity, you say that people can earn jewels. Is there going to be a limit to how many jewels can be created, or are they going to be burned when they're used, or how do you govern the supply as opposed to the demand side?
So there's a little bit of confusion there in terms of earning. When I'm saying earning, I'm meaning that players who are playing the game are earning items or in-game currency, which they're then trading with people who have bought currency from our website or through exchanges or anything along those lines. So mature jewels, ones that are trusted and cannot then be done through a chargeback through PayPal, that sort of thing, can be traded in-game through players. So if you're purchasing, let's say, $25 worth of jewels and you want to buy a powerful in-game item, we will not sell you that item because that would be pay to win. There'd be all sorts of issues in terms of pay to win balance that way. But you could go to another player who has a strong item that they've earned by playing the game and purchase it from them using jewels. And they could then decide to use those jewels on a cosmetic in-game item, or they could then withdraw those, the jewels to an exchange to then use Bitcoin or fiat currency.
That's really cool because, a lot of the time in these video games, they have very little ability to actually transfer the value that they've earned over time into the real world, other than maybe selling your account. But a lot of people don't want to sell an account. They actually want to be able to sell various items of theirs, and they want to not have to force people to go outside of a small area of maybe websites that they're affiliated with because they use them all the time for the video game, or even within the client itself is best. If you can keep them doing that within the client itself, which is that's what I'm gathering from you guys, from the auction house, and you're going to see people start leveraging the digital economy, and that stuff is very valuable to a lot of people. If you've got something that is a really cool skin, we'll pay hundreds of dollars for that. So these things it almost opens up a new level of exchange to have these gaming communities onboarded and starting to use cryptocurrency as the main trading token for all these different objects.
Definitely. And we have had a lot of issues in the past with people trying to go behind the scenes reselling currency or items or characters. And while that is something that obviously will happen regardless, even with a cryptocurrency introduced, the more we can legitimize that and make it safe for players so they're not having to worry about scams, the better. Obviously, we'll start off by simply having it be a tradable currency, but we do want to push towards doing the Jewels auction house. And same as with the mini games, we'd be doing that as a HTML5 web view. So you'll be able to access that auction house from a mobile device, you'll be able to access it from our website, and you'll be able to access it from in-game. So no matter where you are or what you're doing, you can still access your account and the items and resources it has to manage them properly.
And a lot of things that I don't think that a lot of people realize how many gamers there are in these MMOs who actually have a lot of experience creating bots that arbitrage items. So a lot of people don't realize that something like Jewels, if it enables people who are gamers to join up and potentially create their own arbitration bots and use them in these exchanges, it would be something where they're actually helping the economy on a very high level, or on a very low level, that actually permeates and creates a lot more perception of strength and value in the actual Jewels token themselves. Because you do have various exchanges in cryptocurrency where arbitration bots are, but the gaming community has a bunch of those people who are very capable, and whenever you can bring in a bunch of people who are capable of building cool stuff like that, you're onboarding and you're also kickstarting that economy.
Definitely, and it is entertaining that you bring up mentioning market bots, that sort of thing. For the game itself, there is already a website that they essentially have bots that go around scanning little market stalls in the game, obviously not using cryptocurrency at the moment, but they're going around scanning and tracking daily prices for items, allowing it all in a centralized database. And they built that as players because there was no centralized auction house. There was no centralized way to track what is an item worth, how is the market value going for individual items. And so being able to introduce the people who are going out of their way to create things like that and introduce them to the concepts of having it have a real world value, having it be crypto based is pretty exciting to me.
Yeah, well, I'll say this. Whenever I was introduced to botting in World of Warcraft when I was running guilds, and I learned that I could actually exchange that money that I got in game for actual real world currency. It was a stunning revelation to me, and it was actually one of the foundational experiences in my life that as soon as I saw Bitcoin, I said, oh my God, this is going to be having a lot of value, because the generation that I'm part of is not going to be shy or afraid of these digital currencies. They're going to open up their arms to this stuff, and
Definitely.
the rest is history. But it started with video games, man, and that's why I find myself thinking that we're probably going to have a huge demographic that we can capture and bring into cryptocurrency, who are going to be the perfect people to bring in, because they're going to be able to not only build the stuff or not only appreciate the value of it, but they're going to be able to build the stuff as well that is necessary for this stuff to really shine.
I completely agree. Yes.
Excuse me.
Oh, sorry. I was just agreeing with you.
Yeah, I like this, man. You keep on coming on here.
Thank you very much. So that's my basic description of the project. Is there any other questions that you guys have about it, the timeline, anything like that? I would mention that the ICO is open right now. In terms of basic information on the coin itself, there's 20 million coins total, and 90% of that is being distributed through the ICO. 5%, as I mentioned, is being reserved for the PayPal fund, so that we can start that right as soon as the server launches. And then that PayPal fund, obviously, we will have to do buybacks from exchanges to restore that fund as it is sold. And then the other 5% is reserved for the dev fund itself in terms of translations, ambassadors, that sort of thing.
I have a couple questions, but I'll ask first if anybody else has any. Okay. How long does the ICO go, and are you going to have multiple levels of ICO, or how is this going to work? I know that PeerPlays has 3 of them, and the first one was the cheapest to get in on. The second one was more expensive, and the third one is going to be more expensive yet.
So the ICO is running right now and will end on the 1st. So there's just under 6 days remaining. Currently, we're at about 46.5 Bitcoin raised. We're only doing the one ICO, and the reason being is that the funds we're raising, we don't need funds for the game. That's all completely separate. The funds we're raising are to design the Jewels systems. So the gambling subsystems, making sure that's secure and provably fair, and developing the games themselves. And then the rest would be going towards creating things such as the Jewels auction house and all of the background logics that's needed to manage that securely.
And now, the ICO, how do they participate in it? And is this a token that is its own blockchain, or is this going to be a token that is on another blockchain? How does that work?
So the ICO is running right now. You can access it at apexconquer.com/ico.php. I'll have the Jewels account go ahead and paste the relevant links in the chat there. We also have a thread over on Bitcoin Talk discussing the development of both the coin and the servers themselves, the content we're adding to them, just giving people snippets and previews of that. And in terms of the blockchain, I will also have Jewels go ahead and add that there. And the goal for the ICO is 200 BTC total. If that is not raised, then what we'll do is we'll release an updated timeline for how long it's going to take the projects to be completed for each stage at the amount of funding reached. And at that point, the investors would be able to vote to either continue moving along with the project at that timeline or to cancel. And at that point, the funds would be sent back to the investors. They'd all be refunded. We'd still go ahead with the Jewels project, but at that point we would look to internal funding, and it would of course cause the timeline to extend significantly.
That's very interesting. So there's just going to be one chance to get in on this token, and if the funding isn't reached, you are probably going to do a buyback, is what you're saying.
Correct. Yes. We would allow people to vote to continue or not based on the timeline. So for example, if let's say we were only a few BTC short, the timeline would not change drastically. And at that point, people would simply say, okay, I'm happy with that timeline, continue or not. And that would, again, be based on the amount of stake they owned based on their investment.
Okay, now, with that said, first off, does anybody else have any questions or comments?
So I do see the mention of the ICO not reaching target. I mentioned that. I do see another question on how the tokens are distributed. That's, again, based on the Bitcoin received. That being said, the entire 90% is distributed to investors, obviously based on how much was invested per person determines how many coins they get.
And did you say that this was its own blockchain or it's on another blockchain?
It should be its own, yes.
And do you guys know what you're going to be using in terms of the blockchain and the technology that's going to underlie it?
Definitely, that is in our post there. I'll have the Jules account go ahead and write that up, so I'm not listing anything incorrect there. But he does have that listed on the official post, and he'll add it to chat there in one moment.
Sounds good. It is his own blockchain, which is a POS currency. Have you guys considered the potential? What are the block times on this? And the reason I bring it up is because if you guys haven't considered, graphene is actually Steemit is based on graphene, and Steemit has doubled Ethereum's transaction volume that it's gone through in over just a little bit over 2.5 months that it's been in existence. So, and we're talking about 3-second block times. So if you built on top of graphene, it might be a little bit better with a block time of 1 minute. And you're almost going to have to introduce a centralized layer to make things faster as far as in terms of the trading. But if you had something like a graphene chain, you could do these things and the trades would be 3 seconds or less instead of a minute each.
Right.
Just a thought. I don't know if where you guys stand on it, but I
so
have
a lot of the in-game
those...
trading. Sorry, not to interrupt you. A lot of the in-game trading is actually going to be using tokens. So let's say you load Joules onto your account. You would exchange that for a token worth 1,000 Joules or 10,000 Joules, and you would trade that token to the other person. And at that point, they could claim those Joules on whichever account they wanted. So that sort of bypasses the initial blockchain time because they've already turned it into a token, and then that token is being given to someone else.
Gotcha. Does anybody else here? Let's see here. Fadat says, "I'd actually like to second what Fuzzy's saying here." Okay, you're using a blockchain. Why? I think he touched upon that a little bit. But Pro for Never, would you like to answer it again a little bit?
Yeah, I'm mostly going to mention what the Joules account mentioned in chat there. We're not overly concerned with the transaction time, simply because most of the item assets, you're going to already have the Joules loaded onto your account. So they'll already have been verified. We'll be able to go ahead and give you the item and remove those Joules. If we do shift towards items being based on the blockchain, then definitely we would need to look into a faster, such as graphene, like you mentioned.
Yeah, that is exactly the route that I was looking at. But I see that you guys are saying that you're going to be having a service that's going to be on top of the blockchain that is going to be able to send that for people.
And the reason that's done is that way the Joules coin itself is completely separate from either of the servers. So if you want to use the Joules on Apex or Heroes, you load it into that server and that server then manages them. And then if you want to take those Joules out, you withdraw it back to your wallet or your exchange, however you would like. And because we do want to be able to partner with other servers, other sites, other games, having it built directly in terms of how it handles items or future auction house or anything like that could clutter things quite quickly. So we want that sort of decentralized, that they shouldn't really be linked. The server should manage Joules for whatever it needs to be able to do with the Joules, and the blockchain should be separate.
Yeah, the blockchain is just the ledger where all of it is managed.
Correct, yes. I do see someone mentioned there that there's a partnership with the coin C2. Yes, we have talked to them a little bit, and there is an agreement that we're going to work together. The details of that partnership haven't been fully fleshed out. Basically, just that they were another gaming coin. And as far as we've gotten in terms of the partnership is that inside our wallet, we are going to have an automated conversion option so you can turn Jules into C2 and C2 into Jules.
It's kind of cool.
We have approached a couple other groups just in terms of being able to build partnerships, that sort of thing. But at the moment, we're just trying to work out the fine details. For example, we did contact Spells of Genesis with Bit Crystals. One of the suggestions that we had was that because they do have their tokenized items and being able to send them off to other games, that sort of thing, we were considering the possibility of introducing some of their cards as cosmetic items in our game. So custom weapons or armors or that sort of thing, so that they would be able to load those items in. Now, at that point, though, we do run into the issue of the blockchain time possibly being an issue when you are dealing with blockchain for items, but that is definitely something that could be dealt with.
Well, sounds like everything has been covered as far as from what everybody else is asking. If anybody is wanting to work with the project, how do they get in contact with you guys?
So we have a couple of different options for that. We have our post on the Bitcoin Talk forum, obviously, but for anything where they're trying to offer support in terms of possible programming or art or community relations, anything like that, we do have an email set up for that, jules@apexconquer.com. And I'll go ahead and have that posted in chat there so people can copy paste it. So right now we are going to be accepting applications for art developers in the next month or so, because we will need to obviously be hiring some artists to work on the gambling games, to work on models, textures, that sort of thing. And so we will be accepting applications for that, but we're not quite to that stage yet. Obviously, we need to know how much funds we've raised to determine how many artists and developers we would need to bring on.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me on.
Well, you're more than welcome to join us every week and RSVP every week and see if you can get on here to give some updates. Otherwise, I will definitely say that if you have any community members who want to create their own content and post it under the Beyond Bitcoin tag on Steem, I will look through it, and if it's good content, or especially with concern to things like Hangouts, to talk about specifics of this project, I will definitely be supporting them and asking everybody at these Hangouts to do the same.
Sounds good. I'll mention that to them, and we'll definitely post some stuff there.
Sounds good, man. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Crypto Hippie, are you there? Oh, he just unmuted himself. Well, first off, is LP Ninja here under a different name? Okay, I just wanted to make sure. It looks like he is a no-show. I'll go ahead and mark that. It should be working for him. Crypto Hippie, go ahead and... no, you're not coming through. Do you have push-to-talk set up?
Can you hear me now?
Perfectly.
All right. How's it going, Fuzzy?
Very well. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. Just been working away, staying busy.
That's fair enough. Hey, are you enjoying your podcasting?
Yeah, man, it's been great. We've been, the whole thing's been a learning process. And we're getting it down to where we can, we had a few technical difficulties in the beginning, but I think we're getting it down now to where we should be able to be having at least one a week and possibly two.
Nice.
So yeah, thanks for having us on. I just wanted to get on and kind of let the community know what we're doing and take any questions that we might have. We're SteemPress podcast. We've been going, I think I'm trying to post episode 8 right now. I've been super busy working at the weed farm, so I haven't been able to
Such a terrible job.
What's that?
Such a terrible job. I feel sorry for you.
Oh man, just sticky
All that
fingers
work.
all day. No, so I haven't been able to be around the computer as much as I'd like to, but it's this will be over soon and I'll be back on it, and hope to have 2 podcasts a week coming out.
Awesome, man. So why did you guys decide that you were going to get into doing this podcast? What kind of, were you out in the weed farm and you just had a little bit too much of it go through your skin, and you said, oh my God, I had this wonderful idea that I'm just going to start a podcast? Is that how it happened, or is this completely unfounded on my part?
No, well, so Matt and I have been parts of the Ethereum community here in Portland for, since Ethereum became, I guess, since the crowd sale, actually. But so we've known each other for a long time. John, we just met about 6 months ago. So when Steem came out, we were just kind of trying to find what might be our niche in that network. Where can we fit into this? And we just thought
you have
maybe
a background in community building, right?
That's John. Yeah, John does. John's actually doing some great things for the community here in Portland. We just got the old Methodist church is shutting down, and so we are going to rent that and turn that into a community center, and soon we'll be doing the podcast out of there, so that'll be good. We're gonna try and set up a whole recording studio in there and everything, so we can have musicians come in, and we're gonna do concerts in the sanctuary and stuff, so it should be fun.
Now, is this gonna all be paid for by the farm or by Steem it?
Possibly both. We'll see. No, this is actually, it's been cool because it's been funded by the community. So there's a coffee shop that our buddies own, and they're gentrifying Portland pretty well right now. So our building's up for sale. So we were looking at a new place to move to, and the church came up, and so we decided, well, we could do a lot more than a coffee shop if we had a church. So
it's a great idea, man.
Yeah, it's we're gonna, it should be like, we're gonna open up workspace, rent out offices to people that need them. We're gonna run the Steem It meetup group out of there, so should be good. I'm excited.
So, does anybody have any questions or comments for Crypto Hippie before I go completely insane talking to him? Because I will talk the entire time.
It's all good.
Okay. So what got you into Steem It, man? Like, what exactly made you guys go, wow, Steem It is a great idea. We're going to set up shop here.
Right. Well, for me, I've I don't come from crypto with much of a technical background, but always was just kind of wondering, like, all right, blockchains are great. What's going to introduce that to the world? What's going to introduce it to the average person? And when I saw Steem It, it was like, okay, this is it. This is what we're going to do. I knew it's going to be, it's got to be something that can allow the average person to get into it. And the average person is already creating content on all the other social media sites for free.
Yep.
So why not move over and try and get people to move to Steem It? So that was my big, what drew me to it. And I kind of wrangled in the other guys and said, hey, you guys got to check this out.
And they saw it and were like, okay. We agree with you.
Yeah, well, John's been trying to figure, I've been trying to get him to get into crypto for a while. And the cool thing that I really like about Steem It is, it allows the average person to get into crypto without making much of it. You don't have to throw down an investment, basically. So
yeah, and in addition to that, you don't have to understand crypto really that much, for at least for the, whenever you think about it in terms of, hold on. when you think about it in terms of a user being able to go to the website, see that their post made X amount of dollars or potentially yuan or euros, and it's, that is something that they're familiar with and psychologically comfortable with, and it takes away that barrier of entry in terms of being a crypto expert to gain the benefit of the crypto. You know what I mean?
Totally. That's one of the big things about it, man, is I tell people all the time, they're like, well, I don't know anything about crypto. I don't understand it. And I'm like, you know what? You understand Reddit. That's all you need to understand. You don't need to understand crypto. Just post, be a member of the community and add value to it, and you're going to be fine. So that's what we're kind of doing with the podcast, or trying to do.
Are there any people in particular that you see who are doing really cool things that deserve respect and who are bringing a lot of value to that platform, who might not be getting enough coverage or thanks?
There's so much good content on Steem, and I feel like a lot of it can go by almost unnoticed, especially with the quick payout times that we have now. But I can't really think of one person in particular right now, or two people in particular. I see everybody's doing a really good job. There's a handful of people out there that are just trying to post old content from the internet too, but there's a lot of people that are creating really well thought out stories, and I hope to see more of that. I hope that continues, and it doesn't go down like more of a clickbait kind of route,
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see where it does go, but I think that the open sourcing of the front end makes for a huge world of possibility beyond Reddit that could potentially bring in the masses as well. I think it's going to be very interesting, and I also think it'll be interesting whenever we get to that point where, and I suspect it will happen, where Steem will actually be able to pay you out in Steem-backed euros or Steem-backed
right,
yuan or something like that, right? So then once you do that, now you're getting a worldwide audience.
Yeah, I've been really excited to see, and we talked about it on the last podcast. I'll have the link up here in a minute for that podcast, but just excited to see all of the some big people like Roger Ver, Charlie Shrem, all these dudes from the Bitcoin community that are now moving over here. I think this is you had Dollar Vigilante on here last week. That was pretty cool. And so, yeah, I'm excited to see some bigger name people from that community move over here, because typically what I've seen is from the Bitcoin community is, they're kind of Bitcoin only. Yeah, exactly. So yeah. It's cool to see them taking a look at anything new, and if they can grow on this and they can grow with it, then I'm happy to have them here. So it's been cool.
Yeah. And I guess I can say this perspective of somebody who is also from BitShares, because we have seen for a long time, Dan Lehrer, would come on and say, hey, we've done this, and this. We can accomplish all these things now that Bitcoin has issues with, and it can scale on its own. The community gets to decide how it scales. We're going to empower the community, but we're going to have separations of power in it, and it's going to be able to scale pretty much indefinitely, as long as the equipment that is used by witnesses can continue to improve. There's no reason why every other metric shouldn't be able to improve over time. So he gave us, this very powerful toolkit along with his team. And the fact of the matter is that until Steem, nobody really got to see it, because there was so much FUD around BitShares and Stan and Dan scamming people. I hate to hear this word used so often. It's called scamming. Whenever you have people who actually care about a project and they're building it and they're working hard to build it, that's not a scam. Even if it fails, that wasn't a scam. A scam is the guy that you give money to and he runs away and does nothing with it but buys stuff for himself. That is a scam. And for so long, the Bitcoin community, you can kind of see what Tony Vase does and how he just attacks Dan Larimer is what it is. And that's basically what we've, as a community for the BitShares community, have endured for a long time is, hey guys, we have this technology that does amazing things. Like it was a huge thing that Ethereum came out with 3-second blocks. But guess what? BitShares was able to do that for a year and a half prior to that, and it's actually able to go faster than that if we want it to. So, it was a big deal for ETH and it got a bunch of media attention, but Steem, it really got us on the map. It showed what graphene can do, and that's nobody can deny it now.
Yeah, I've always kind of in the back of my mind, I never went too far down the BitShares rabbit hole up until this point, but always in the back of my mind, I always kind of knew that it was the superior technology. I've always remember reading Dan posting, just like you were saying, well, we can do this, and we can do this, and we can do this, and it already does this. So I'm glad to see that Steem is able to kind of showcase what graphene can do.
Yeah, and it's going to be very interesting. I really wish that the guy from SolarCoin would have been here today too, because they're talking about the same type of things. The graphene technology is what they're looking at using for electric chain. And that's why I'm doing this outreach, is because, whenever you reach out to people and you show that you actually give a crap about what they're doing, a lot of the time they will surprise you and do amazing things that you never even imagined that they would do. If you believe in something and people believe in that as well, and you work with them, you never know what value somebody's going to bring to the equation. You never want to shut that door. And we're now getting to that point where there are people who are starting to recognize that door is open and it's there for them to use it. So I'm going to be very interested to see how many graphene chains pop up, and then also how many we get to all cover on Steem it.
Yeah, I think it's just, now that everybody kind of sees what it can do, I think there's gonna be all sorts of colorful projects popping up, and I can't wait I love to see it grow, man. This is like, since I got into crypto, it's changed a lot. I've seen a lot come and go. And I love it. It's a front row seat, man, at changing the world, for watching the world being changed. So I'm very happy to be a part of it.
And and you're at the front row seat, man. You're right. Like, and the funny thing is, it's a front row seat that anybody could have gotten into if they chose to move in that direction, but the fact that you step up and you guys are doing this stuff, it's really awesome to see, because it's going to open up a lot of new opportunities. And I do want to let you know, of course, if you guys ever have guests that you want to bring in for a hangout like this, feel free to bring them on board, and I'll do the same thing. I'll let you guys know whenever I run into people who you can bring on for your own interviews and things like that. I'm wanting to work with people who want to do the things that you guys are doing, because we want to have a network of them doing this stuff so we can cover all this stuff. It's a lot of work and a lot of effort, but if we've got teams that can trust each other and work on this stuff, it's just a synergistic loop that never ends. And why not continue doing that, right?
Absolutely, man. Since we started this, man, we've been really happy that anybody gives a crap about what we're doing. It amazes us whenever we get upvotes. Even, we'd like to get a lot more, but
man, you guys got a lot of
that's gonna come over time. I can't believe we got 15 upvotes to come on your show. That's awesome. I'm stoked on that. So thank you for everybody that voted
too. When I saw that, I was like, you see certain people who recognize the value of what we're doing, and the way to go about it is to build up your community who follows and supports you. And if they do that and they keep having more trust in what you're doing, well, then guess what? They're going to want to power up more too, because then they can give you more. So it becomes this productive, well, I'll keep going into the loop, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, the loop's real.
The loop is real, baby.
That. This is a great network of people and connections, and everybody can help each other. So we're, that's what we're trying to do, is help other projects that we see, and, also help our own project by creating cool new content. We definitely do want to get some people probably on here for another hangout as well. So, or possibly do our own Steem It hangout. Our SteemPress hangout. We were just talking about that the other day. So we'll see what happens.
Well, I know Fadat, he and Fadat, what's Bren's name on Steem It? Rampant. Okay, yeah. He's the one who does the body painting stuff. He also is a good website designer, and they're going to be working on a template for Beyond Bitcoin to have, as the back end will be Steem It, front end will be Beyond Bitcoin with the Steem It content for the Beyond Bitcoin tag. And I was curious if you guys are interested in talking to Fadat about that as we go forward, because if you think that there would be some cool things that you would like to have for a website like that, and this is extended to anybody who listens to this or who's attending today, I put down $5,000 to get a template website that people can use as their own front end, with Steem It as the back end, or Steem as the back end. And what I want to do is I want to give them feedback on what those template websites could be, or what it could offer, especially utilizing the list from Cloudery, that is another business that Fadat has that actually offers web-based services that could essentially be added to the main site. So you might be able to have your own forum on the page, your own calendar on the page, notifications that people have replied to comments. There's a bunch of different things that can be done, but we're going to build that template, and then we're going to keep that open source, so you guys and other people who are doing hangouts will actually have something where they can post their own content to that, and then also to the Beyond Bitcoin site as well. So if you guys have your own Steem hangout, it'll also be posted to the Beyond Bitcoin website in addition. And we could have affiliate hangouts where that's essentially how it works, right?
Yeah, I'm totally interested in that. I'm sure the other dudes will be very into it as well. So, yeah, thank you for doing that, man, and thanks for extending that invitation towards us.
Well, yeah, and I want to just, this goes to the Crypto Drive. Anybody who's interested, I want, I have my own ideas, but I want other people to help out and bring their own ideas to the project as well, because I'm getting enough support that I can help do this stuff. And I personally believe that people who are quote unquote whales in the Steem infrastructure, they should be focusing a lot of their efforts and a lot of their earnings to build some of the things that are going to empower the community to help fix this whale problem that is, or at least the perceived whale problem that exists, because there's two sides to the whale problem, right? There's one that the community has a hard time uniting, and even when they do, they need a whale to kind of like really cap off for success. But in addition to that, you have the whale problem where there's whales who are just feeling like, my God, I'm just getting thrown all these different links from everybody all over the place, and I have to keep up with them because they're good people and they're doing good stuff. But there's got to be better way for all these different things. And I think that once we build some of these websites and we have people who actually use their own website to funnel people to Steem and say, hey, we create content, but you don't have to buy anything from us. You don't have to do anything but create a Steem account and upvote it. If you upvote our content and I get 1,000 people who are upvoting the content with $3 or $4 of Steem power, that does add up. I mean, it might not be everything, but it takes a lot of the bite out of the fees that it costs to run an operation, and can really do a lot more for you if you have far more people than 1,000, or even if a few of them decide to power up, over time, that's going to be a lot of money that goes into people's pockets, and that will help them, like Chris said, have the energy to build what they need to build in the future.
Yep, that's very true. I agree with you, and I see the whale problem as well. I can't imagine having a lot and just being overwhelmed with links, man.
Yeah, I mean, people don't see that part of the whale problem, and it's like, you want to help people, but at the same time, you have to realize that there are people who are sending you links who are scammers too. You never know. I can read somebody's post and it's great, but it's actually a copy of somebody else's post on Steemit, and the cheetah bot hasn't picked it up yet. It's one of those things where it's a lot of extra effort and you feel like you have to do it a good job, because if people don't get paid on the platform, they, forget the fact that they don't get paid anything on any other platform. They don't recognize that. They think of it in terms of, oh, it's not equal, it's not fair. At least it's fair on the other platform where they screw everybody equally. You know what I mean?
Totally. Hey, Fuzzy, I had a question for you about your share bot. Sure. Is that basically a smart contract that will allow you to share earnings from particular posts with other people in the community?
The share bot, kind of. What I'm going to be doing with it is, and it's down right now because let's just say this, I've got people who are helping with it, but it's taking time because I don't have a whole lot of people backing me with it. It's kind of another job that I'm doing with a couple other people. But I will say that if anybody supports the things that were popping up, especially T Sujimoto is the account name. She is one of my dad's developers who he knows, and she's really good at what she does. But she does need some help sometimes. But if you guys support her, we'll be able to get some of this stuff built up. And one of the primary reasons I want to have it built up is that I have something called a guest book, and I can take and have all of you guys sign this guest book. And whenever I have that guest book signed by you, now I can actually distribute tokens to you, right? So what I can do then is, and this is the route that I'm wanting to take, and this is, please tell me if you guys are interested in me going this route or not, and if you guys would support me, because I would need the support for this. But if I get this ShareBot running and working well, which we are making progress, especially on the front end, and once the front end's done, the back end's just going to fall into place. But I will say that once we have this done, in addition to that, you're going to be able to do other things. Like, for instance, I could utilize IFTTT to be able to, I could create something where it creates a spreadsheet whenever somebody promotes my tweet. I mean my Steemit post. And I could actually say, okay, if you promoted our Hangouts using precisely this phrase, it will compile a spreadsheet, and I can give you tokens that way too. And then these tokens could actually be turned around and paid to a witness account that always gains Steem power. And that Steem power, that account will actually be used you'll pay it to vote on things. So I could actually give you guys upvotes from the Beyond Bitcoin account, which will only continue growing in steam power because it'll never be powered down other than to maybe pay for the yearly fee for the server and the maintenance. But other than that, it would be consistently growing in steam power as long as elected, and people would be able to actually pay that bot to go and upvote content that's either their own or friends. So it would be essentially a mercenary bot that you no longer have to worry if that bot will upvote your content or not, because if that whale will upvote your content or not, because in the situation where we currently stand, there are a lot of them that I miss, and if there's one where instead of me having to be approached about it, I actually give you tokens for joining the Hangouts, and then you go and get upvotes directly from that bot. Or maybe I also give fuzzy token, and that gets my accounts to upvote you guys. And there would be a Beyond Bitcoin account that then is used for everybody. And that would be essentially giving Beyond Bitcoin away, like I've been planning on doing since the very beginning. I think that answers some of your questions. I don't know if it goes a little bit further too, but there's a lot to it, and you kind of opened a can of worms, and I don't normally talk about it until it's all done. But
Yeah.
You can kind of see the direction I'm going, and I am interested in if you are interested in that, or if there are any things that maybe you would like to ask or bring up with respect to what I just said.
Well, I'm really interested in that, man. I would like to see that, come to fruition. So, whatever I can do to help, I would like to do that. The reason I asked is because, it'd be nice to be able to, pay out guests that we have on our podcast with the Steem dollars that are generated.
Yeah.
And so, if that could be automated, that's what that's kind of what I thought you were building, but I really like what
it
you're
is
building.
in that
It sounds
direction.
awesome. Yeah.
I could give out the Steem dollars, but mostly what I'm probably going to do is I'm actually going to take the Steem dollars earned, and I'm going to put them into the top 3 tokens that are covered in our Hangouts, and then I'm going to distribute those to the audience.
Totally. Man, that sounds awesome. Great job, Fuzzy.
Well, we've been here for a while, so you guys are going to get the benefit of a lot of tools that us stubborn little BitShares people have been building for a long time. And you know what? The funny thing is all of us will be giddy and clapping and, celebrating when other people are using them.
We'll be celebrating when we're using them as well.
Well, here, real quick, while I've got you guys, I'm going to have to go and talk to Mrs. Albright and Tatiana here in about 5 minutes. But I can't, we don't have the guest book up because the bot server for some reason is down. But I do want to ask everybody here to check out that T. Sujimoto Beyond Bitcoin ShareBits logo contest. And if you know anybody who is a good graphics designer, I'm interested in people participating, and we posted about $150 Steam-backed dollars that will be able to be distributed to the winner. So anybody who wants to try their hand here and maybe try to create a ShareBits logo, they're more than welcome to join up and do so.
Dude, I'll definitely get some people on that for sure. I have some friends that are graphic designers, and so I'll send them that way. I'm stoked that you're talking to Lynn Albrecht today. That should be interesting, man.
Well, I want to get her on for I'm stubborn. I have messaged her probably 20 times over the course of the past year, but there for a while they were really busy because of the case, but now that things on that end have calmed down a little bit, I'm actually able to reach out to them also with Steem and say, hey, I would like you guys to do an AMA on Steemit. and I want to, you know, maybe bring you guys on to cover some of that Ask Me Anything material on our Hangouts. And, if we do something like that, I think that we'll be able to help get them paid a little bit of money for Ross Albright's legal funds.
For sure. I was thinking about that the other day. I'm like, man, they could really generate some money here, seeing how much some of the other people that are new to the community but older to Bitcoin community are making off of their, introducing posts. So I just thought that could be something that is helpful. I don't think anybody would not want to upvote something that's going to helping Ross get out of the situation that he's in.
Well, Ross, I actually, to this day, I will argue with people that Ross was one of the key people to bring Bitcoin to the world. Because, let's face it, Silk Road was something that everybody in Bitcoin knew about, and it brought in a lot of people to Bitcoin. Now, yeah, we could say that it was the unsavory characters in our generation who were part of it, but let's face it, Bitcoin pays far less toward criminal organizations than the US dollar ever could. And let's also face the fact that, and this is the truth, that it was shut down. Silk Road was largely shut down because guess what? These types of things are very dangerous to the legacy systems. They don't want anything to grab traction, and they want to scare the shit out of somebody. They want you to think that, you are going to risk everything to create a free market. Because why? Because they control the markets, and they don't want free markets. They want managed markets the way they want to manage them. So,
Yeah,
Ross, I could get on this topic all day.
He really did a good thing for Bitcoin, for sure. And people Bitcoin got a bad rap as being drug money for a long time, but I've never seen anybody roll up a Bitcoin and snort drugs with it, so.
You've seen a dollar bill, though, baby. And I guarantee you one of those dollar bills has been in our president's nose, too.
Definitely.
You can roll up a paper wallet.
Fair enough, Brindle. But I can guarantee you that our president hasn't rolled one up and put it in his nose yet.
Not yet.
On that day, I will cry.
That would go for the last 3 presidents, probably.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure that Bill Clinton never inhaled.
Please.
Yeah.
You're crazy.
Yeah, he also never went on an airplane illegally with the head of the Department of Justice.
I think the difference is, Fuzzy, we just know about it. I mean, this has been going on forever in politics. Yeah. I don't defend anybody, but it's a miracle that we know about it. So let's take our wins.
That's a good point. It's a miracle that we've made it so far, and just the visibility of it these days makes it look like it's worse than it ever has been, but it probably has always been this bad. And we are actually, in fact, going to get through all of the hard times, because if we got through the hard times when we didn't know all the bad stuff, now if knowledge is power, then we should be empowered to do more good, right?
Absolutely.
Except to some extent, we find out about it and we shrug it off. I still find it hard to believe that everybody has just become comfortable with being spied on all the time, and a whole generation is getting totally used to it.
Yeah, that's the boiling frog theory. But on the other hand, you see a lot of really weird stuff, like people with tattoos. All right, there are a lot of tattoos on their body, and then they claim that they also want to have immutable identities, or they want to have their identity protection. I mean, really, if you get in front of any sort of camera anywhere, you're going to be identified by your tattoos long before you're identified by your credit card. I mean, it's nuts how there's these dual thinking. There's a lot of thinking that's inconsistent with itself.
Yeah, and somehow we still are surviving and, man, almost thriving, we could say, I mean, okay, guys, well, it looks like we are, looks like I'm going to have to get off of here. I got to go talk to Lennon Tatiana. So
do it on
I
here.
will talk to you. Huh?
You should do it on here.
I would love to, except that I'm not able to do that unless I ask them. So I will definitely be trying to get them on here, though.
Sweet. Well, yeah, thanks, Fuzz, for having us on. You're doing a great thing, man. Keep on keeping on.
But you know what? I have this saying that as long as you don't give up, you can never fail. So I feel like if we keep moving forward and I keep doing what I'm doing, and if I'm not stupid enough to think that I'm doing it all on my own, and I find the ways to give back to all of you guys and the people who support all of this, then, you know, I think everything's going to get really big and powerful someday. And I think that if we keep humble along that track, then whenever we get there, we'll be able to actually do some real good along the way, and whenever we get to that point. So, and we're only getting better. So thank you.
Thanks, Fuzzy.
Thanks, Fuzz.
Yeah, thank you guys. And just so you guys know, this is the last thing I'm going to say. I'm going to put up the RSVP, and I'm going to be putting up the PeerCoin birthday party today as well. Please upvote those, and please reach out to people and let them know. If you know people that you trust who are doing cool things in the crypto space, let them know about what we're doing, because we want to support them. We want to give the trustworthy people, the people who are busting their butts, who are here for the long term. I'm not talking about the people who want money right now and don't want to, you know, haven't proven themselves. I'm saying people who are, you know, who are building and who want support, and they can prove that they're honest people. You know, those people who have communities backing them, or can get a community to back them. Over time, we're going to show that these people are the valuable projects that people need to hold on to long term, instead of just pump and dumps. If there's a community there, it's likely that there's not going to be a bunch of pumps and dumps, because they're going to be protecting it by being strong hands. So if we bring those people on, it's going to not only benefit Beyond Bitcoin, though, but it's going to also benefit you guys. So get people to upvote it. And the reason I say that is because I'm going to use the funds, the SBD, earned from the thread that I post, the RSVP thread, and I'm going to give it to the top 3 people who have referred people. So if you refer somebody, which you'll see in this next RSVP thread, that it's going to have a referrer slot where you put down the person who referred you. The person who gets the referral is going to receive some funds from the Steem backed dollars for the RSVP thread. So I just want to let you guys know that it's something where I will give back to you if you give back to those people who you believe deserve coverage. So thank you guys very much, and steam on, and you know, enjoy your week, and we'll see you guys here next Friday.
Cool. Thanks, man. Cheers. I'll see you next Friday.
Thanks, Fuzzy.
We love you.
Tamer, damn it. Hey, Tamer, did you end up getting that BitShares Island figured out on your computer?
No, I need to install Linux.
Holy shit. Hey, you know what? If you reach out to Valentine, he might help you. He used to run a bunch of Minecraft servers, and I don't mind paying him a little bit too to help out. I really have wanted to have this for a long time. I just didn't have the money to do it. And now that Steemit's here and everybody's supporting us, I can start doing some of these cool things for our community. And I'm damn well interested in doing it, man.
Yeah, I've never done mine test.
Yeah, Joey actually is somebody who's had a lot of experience in the...
What do you want to do? We still have the server, you know.
Well, that's the Mumble server too, right?
Yeah. Well, as long as we're not at 2,000 users, then you're okay.
Oh, really?
You have a complete core left unused, so you can use it for something.
Oh, that sounds perfect then.
But do you still want to run the Mindtest one or the Minecraft one? We have both. Although I might have to update everything.
Mindtest because it's so much cheaper for anybody who wants to get in. If somebody wants to play Minecraft, they have to pay the money for it. So considering that we're kind of a worldwide community, and that we have, though a lot of our members are in first world countries, that doesn't necessarily mean that there aren't people in the Chinese community or, Philippines or God knows any number of locations around the world where they might not necessarily be able to afford Minecraft.
Okay. But you still want to use Mindtest then, and not one of these simple two-dimensional ones like what they're called, Terraria or something?
I started the Terraria and I looked at it, and it wasn't what I was looking for. I really wanted the idea of BitShares Island, because in the very early days we said to each other, jokingly, oh, when BitShares takes off, we'll all buy ourselves, together, we'll all pitch in and buy an island, and we'll go out there and just like chill and party once a year or something. But, of course, an island is extremely, extremely expensive. So, we are not able to buy an island currently. But the thing is that because of the power of technology, we kind of can have our own BitShares island, as long as, we leverage the technologies that we have available to us, right? Kind of an analogy of cryptocurrency in general.
Okay, you still want to have that logo in the terrain or something?
Oh yeah, I've got that created still. Like, I've got it there. I mean, I'd probably need a better version later on, but initially that's going to be fine. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach out to some people to actually build some buildings and stuff in there who are actually very talented builders. I would like to have a couple important, what do you call them? Whenever you're giving directions, you tell people various locations that are, what do they call it? Landmarks.
Yeah.
So kind of have maybe like a Beyond Bitcoin hub place, on one of the islands or in the center.
If it's public, I don't know. I haven't looked into the stuff since we stopped. But I know in Minecraft, no, even in Mindtest, I've seen that you can lock areas, so you could even this stuff.
Oh, really? So this is another thing that I was thinking it would be cool, would be to be able to let people use BitShares to buy a plot to build their own little house or something.
That would be cool.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it would be cool just to have an island like that where we could go and just chill and, maybe even have certain themes like, zombie apocalypse, and then load a bunch of zombies onto the game.
One thing that we still need to look into the Mindtest one. From what I've got at this, it's a framework, and you can load your own game on top of it. So if you want a Minecraft style game, you need to have the Minecraft set or something on top of it. I don't know if that works on mobile phones.
You can have zombies or classic maps or whatever you want.
Yeah, but you load this whole game system. So I don't know if you want to be a home-grow farmer with only with ducks and stuff, and then apparently there's a set for that.
Yes.
Now you're saying that somebody who uses that, though, they would need to download that package too.
Yeah, you need to have the same set as we have on the server. Wouldn't be hard for people on PC, but I don't know how that works on phones. So you need to download. You could just provide a link and a download location, and everybody could run the same mod.
Well, I know whenever I played Mindtest on our server on my phone, that whenever it was doing it, it loaded up a bunch of stuff before it even started.
That's just the loading thing, and that's the most basic thing that was on there. I think that was not even the complete game, so there were no. I think there were no animals and stuff like that on the server.
Was it minimal server?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I have some funds that if you guys are interested in helping me do this, I don't mind putting down a 1.5K toward doing it.
I'm not a programmer, so I wouldn't be able to program a zombie apocalypse.
No.
Even if I wanted to.
No, I guess what I'm saying though is if you guys have things that are interesting to you, I'm willing to put up some money to make sure that we get it happening.
One thing that I did notice about the whole Mindtest thing is apparently it's a lot quicker. So it seems to have a way better performance than default standard Java Minecraft.
It's way better. And it's free.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I haven't looked at it. And last time we looked was a year ago or something. I know everything's still there. I just turned it off.
I have the complete map exported from Minecraft to import in Minetest.
Oh, okay. No, that's... And if you have it running on a newer server, then you're farther ahead than I am.
I run latest Minetest.
Okay.
But I need Linux to import it.
Well, that's not hard. And if push comes to shove, you can just use a virtual machine.
That's not a bad idea.
I'm putting up a laptop with the Linux tonight so I can test it.
I'm also... I need a new lap as well, and one that runs Linux, because I can't stand Windows anymore. And also have big trouble adapting to the Macintosh interface as well.
Well, I'm going to step out here, guys, and I'm going to post the RSVP thread and finish getting the Peercoin one ready. But then I have the Hangout that I've got to do real quick, or the conference call. Okay. But I
have an appointment with the toilet because I'm sick as a dog today. So see you guys later.
All of us are sick.
I'm not sick.
Man, I've been feeling like crap too. Just wanted to let you guys know though, Valentine, he used to program. He's a good programmer, and he used to actually work on Minecraft servers. So he ran his own and everything. So if you guys need help or want to have something done, let him know, and let him know that I'll, kick him some funds.
Me and Joey can fix this.
Oh, I believe you can. That has nothing to do with with the fact that if you guys need something custom done, he could probably hook you up.
Yeah, he's good on Minecraft.
Yeah, and Minetest, from what I understand, is actually relatively similar.
In a different programming language.
Yes.
Yeah, probably.
No, the issue with Minecraft is that it's not free for people to join, and pretty heavy to run.
For that, it's mostly because I want people to be able to join up free of charge or very close to it. So, the barrier to entry for somebody who's living in, say, the Philippines, who's interested in cryptocurrency, to buy Minecraft, it's $10, so it might be like a week of them working,
Minecraft is $30.
Oh, is it now?
Yep.
Jeez.
Sorry, I cut out there. I have a new cat, and she loves my keyboard.
Yeah, I love Minecraft, and I think that it's a great invention, but at the same time, it's just, it's...
There are a couple of open source clones, but not all of them have multi-platform stuff and like that. There are even some very spectacular graphical clones of Minecraft, but I don't know if they're still developed. Anyway, have a nice weekend all.
Yeah, you guys too. I'm going to go ahead and go take some medicine, then I'm going to get back to work. I'll talk to you guys here over the week, and of course you know how to get a hold of me if you need me.
Thanks,
Yes.
Fuzzy. Good show.
Just scream.
Hey, it's all you guys, man. I just run around like a chicken with his head cut off trying to organize it and bring it to people.
You are our leader.
Who's leader?
Our.
Am I your leader, Tamer?
Everyone's leader.
That's what I like. Being a dictator.
Without you, we have been nothing.
Yeah, you are literally nothing. You're not humans with brains in your skulls that are capable of doing amazing things at all.
Exactly.